Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the Flight Sim world. This is Fiber Strike 95. Happy Friday, you guys. Yes, we're about to kickstart the weekend here on our channel here today. And this is part 25 of our 50 states and 50 streams. Yes, we reached the halfway point in the series. Today we're here in the U.S. state of Arkansas. That's right. We're in Arkansas, baby. So, yeah, Arkansas, aka known as the natural state, is one of the really cool areas here in the United States that gets a little overlooked, but I think can be quite a hidden gem of stuff, if you know what I mean. So we're right outside of the Texas border here at Texarkana. Texarkana. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be traveling around the entire U.S. state for pretty much from southwest to northwest Arkansas. So before we get started, I do want to say hello to all you guys in the chat. I hope you're all having a great day here. So I hope you're all having a great day here. So before we get started, I do want to say hello to the chat. We have Super Typhon. Good to see you, my dude. And hello, hello to all the lurkers. See you guys. So here's our flight plan for this afternoon. We'll start here at Texarkana Regional Airport. Then we'll fly to Texarkana. We'll fly around downtown. Then we're going to head northwest to our first stop at Hot Springs, Arkansas, Memorial Field. Now, we'll also be paying visit to the Hot Springs area during our National Park series because, yes, this whole area is a national park, believe it or not. We'll be checking out more about its history as a park when we get there. Then from there, after that, we'll head up to the capital, largest city in the state, Little Rock, Arkansas. We'll fly around into Little Rock, Arkansas, and explore the capital city. The capital of Arkansas, we'll check that out. If y'all don't know about Arkansas, Little Rock, it's famous for the Little Rock 9, which is a major event in the U.S. Civil Rights Movement. Pay a visit to there too. Then before we head up north and make to our second stop, Clinton Reed Memorial Airport, Clinton Municipal. And then finally for the last leg, we'll go through northwest Arkansas. We'll fly around over the Ozarks, reach the college town of Fayetteville. Then we'll make our way to Bentonville, and then head west to historic Eureka Springs and make our final stop at Carroll County Airport. Yes, that is going to be our day here in Arkansas. Yeah, pretty cool stuff here in the United States. Now for the plane we'll be flying today, we'll be taking a very different kind of plane than normal today. Yes, we're taking the air truck. Yes, we're taking the turboprop agricultural plane. Yes, it is the air truck. This is the It is the Air Tractor AT208. Fun fact about this big plane, she is a massive plane. She is the world's largest single-engine agricultural aircraft. She's a massive bird. It can carry a payload of 9,000 pounds in an 800-gallon hopper, which is insane for a plane like this. Huge, and it could go quite surprisingly can go quite quick. Because it can cruise it to 166 knots, and she has a pretty impressive range of 610 nautical miles, which is pretty nice for a plane like this. And it can take off at under 2,000 feet, which is pretty nice for a plane like this. Really cool aircraft. The air truck is definitely a really neat little aircraft, and like I said, it needs to be. Yeah, it's bigger than a freaking PC-12. I know. People forget this thing is absolutely huge. Massive plane. Like I said, and I think this would be a great. And mind you, the PC-12, mind you, is a performance machine. Yet this is still smaller than this agricultural plane. But not only is this aircraft used by a lot of farmers and stuff use this plane, um, but the 802 has even been used by militaries too, not only just for civilian purposes. And while there's a lot of civilian purposes, it's also been used for firefighting too. As the fire boss, they use it for firefighting purposes. It's even used as a strike aircraft by military forces, including those by Burkina Faso, the Egyptian Air Force, and more. Yeah, she's a versatile plane. The U.S. Special Operations Command has even used these planes for military purposes. It's yeah, this is just a really cool aircraft with a lot of versatility. There's no question, this is a neat plane. Should be fun. Hey, We Fly Daily, good to see you. I hope you're doing well, my dude. I hope you're having a great day. Check out We Fly Daily stream here on Twitch. So we're here in Arkansas today. We're just gonna get started with getting this air tractor up and going. We're gonna go ahead and get a checklist started. So all the yeah, all this stuff's already been cleared. Already removed the stack port. So all the pre-flight inspection for the externals is good. So it's already been set. We're going to turn the fuel valve on. Okay, the main tank is on. Power level idle. Now we're going to go ahead and put the control lever to. Go ahead and turn this on. I need to turn down the volume for this. It can be quite a loud little plane. Move the igniter to the off position. Generator off. Yeah. This is a neat little plane. Like I said, we need more. Here we go. Now that she's on, we can go ahead and get her moving. She's a neat little bird. Here we go, guys. We're finally into our agricultural plane. Let's go ahead and talk a little about the airport we're here right now as we taxi on our way over to taxi our way down um, to our airport here today. We're at Texarkana Regional Airport today. It's the main airport served in this town here in Texas. This regional airport mainly does a lot. It's located in Texarkana, 3 nautical miles northwest. It's known as Webb Field. Front gates over the northwest, and much of the highways, the airport is the Union Pacific. It's mainly used for GA, though it's also served by American Eagle with nonstop to Dallas Fort Worth. So that's where this airport has mainly been used for today. Texarkana is actually where we're going to fly over first on our trip in Arkansas. This U.S. city in Arkansas is right on the border of between Arkansas and Texas, hence the name. It was founded at a railroad intersection in 1873. It was incorporated in Arkansas in 1880. Texarkana and its Texas counterpart are the main cities of its own metro area with 147,000 people. The city itself in Arkansas is 29,000 people. Uh, its main economy is based on agriculture, with the city having long been a trade center, mainly with the railroads, of course, and now with highways. The Rib River Army Depot is the largest employer in the city, and that's the main part about Texarkana. I'm gonna go ahead and take off. And oh my goodness, she's off. Woo, she is. Hi. Oh boy, she's off. She's really off. Good thing I'm flying the agriculture version. The floatplane version would have been a little heavier. Now look at this beauty, guys. Oh, it's a one-seat agricultural plane, and yet this is bigger than the Pilatus PC-12. Here's Texarkana. Speed's broken. Yeah, I think so. It is broken. Oh well. Yes, I'm aware of it. I might do it when we land down at our first stop. We need to get this bird stable. There we go. So we're now going to finally head up to Hot Springs, Arkansas for our first stop. If you guys want me to, I can turn down the volume a little bit more on the sim sounds. So if you want to make this a little easier. I'll turn it down a little more. There we go. So, U.S. state of Arkansas is where we're going to be heading to today. Is the U.S. Okay, U.S. state of Arkansas. So, U.S. state of Arkansas is located in the west south central region of the South U.S. It's bordered by the U.S. states of Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma. The name Arkansas derives from the Osage language, refers to the relative the Quapaw people. And the state's definitely well known for its diverse geography between the mountainous regions of the Ozark and Ouachita Mountains to the densely forested land in the south known as the Arkansas Timberlands, and then the eastern lowlands along the Mississippi River and the Arkansas Delta. It was actually originally part of French Louisiana in the Louisiana Purchase, and it was admitted to the Union as the 25th state of the Union on June 15th, 1836, which is basically halfway point of the 50 states. Point of the 50 U.S. states. Much of the Delta region was developed by slaves, and it became part of the Confederates during the Civil War. It suffered economically during the post Civil War era and also had various Jim Crow laws. Arkansas was also a very important area for the civil rights movement, especially in Little Rock. We'll talk more about that when we get there. Basically, the Little Rock Nine, and then it grew more in the '60s with the rise of Walmart. Arkansas is the 29th largest state in the by area of any U.S. state and the 33rd most populous state with just over 3 million people. The capital most populous city is in Little Rock in the center part of the state, the hub for transportation, business, culture, and government in the state. The second largest state is Fort Smith. The largest in the east, Jonesboro, and the largest in the southeast is Pine Bluff. In the 21st century, Arkansas is mainly known for service industries, aircraft, poultry, steel, tourism, and commodity crops like cotton, soybean, and rice. Are all major centers of Arkansas's current economy. Pretty cool stuff here to learn about. So yes, I technically the closest I've been to Arkansas was when I went down to Branson. We're not far from the Arkansas border. I would like to visit Arkansas at some point. Maybe we just do some flying around, obviously. The U.S. state of Arkansas. So let's start with a bit of its early history. You see, before European settlement in North America, Arkansas was inhabited by many indigenous people for thousands of years. The, at the time when they first encountered European explorers, the main peoples include the Caddo, Osage, and the Quapaw people. And the first of these Europeans was Hernando de Soto in 1541. He crossed the Mississippi and he marched across central Arkansas and the Ozarks. After finding nothing of value, he returned to the Mississippi River, where Soto actually fell ill. and basically he was actually buried and died what was now the modern day MacArthur, Arkansas. Yes, apparently DeSoto actually died in Arkansas during his expedition. Of course, after that, other explorers included the French Jacques Marquette and Louis Jolliet in 1673, and Frenchmen Robert La Salle and Henry de Tonty in 1681. The latter established the Arkansas post at the Quapaw village in 1686, making it the first European settlement in what is now Arkansas. The early Spanish or French explorers of the state gave it its name, probably a phonetic spelling of the Illinois tri name for the Quapaw people, who lived downriver. Of course, and a lot of settlers, like fur trappers and all that, moved here during the 18th century. And these people used the Arkansas post as a home base in Inchapot for much of their business operations. Arkansas changed hands during their time between France and Spain during the 7 Years' War, although neither showed interest in the Arkansas post. Arkansas saw its only battle in the Revolutionary War in 1783 with a brief siege of Arkansas post. Of course, you all know about Napoleon Bonaparte selling French Louisiana to the U.S. in 1803, which included all of Arkansas, and French soldiers remained as a garrison there quite a while. Of course, afterwards, following controversy with slavery in the territory during the Missouri Compromise, the territory of Arkansas was organized in 1819, and gradual emancipation in Arkansas was struck down by one vote by Henry Clay. Yes, by one vote. Arkansas could have been a non-slave state, but Henry Clay struck it down. And he was the Speaker of the House, and Arkansas became a slave state. And it became a major wedge issue in the state, and it remained for decades. Owners of cotton plantation supported slavery, while the hill country grew for non-slave. As European Americans sailed through the coast and into the Midwest, the U.S. government forced the removal of many American tribes to Kansas and the Indian Territory in the Trail of Tears. And even then, there was still war during this period, as the Quapaw removal was complete by 1833 and pushed into the Indian Territory. And then, in 1821, they moved the capital from Arkansas Post to Little Rock. And eventually, in 1836, Arkansas became the 25th state and the 13th slave state, which had a population of 60,000 people. Of course, in early antebellum Arkansas, the southeast Arkansas was slave base developed rapidly, and on the eve of the U.S. Civil War, enslaved Africans numbered 111,000 people, which is about a quarter of the state's population, and a plantation system developed that, after the war, kept the state behind for decades. The well-developed among planters in southeast Arkansas caused a rift between the northwest and southeast Arkansas. During that time, in 1861, in May 1861, Arkansas seceded from the Union um, and joined the Confederate States of America. And Arkansas held a very important position for the rebels, as maintaining control of the Mississippi River in the southern states. And the blade balanced in Wilson Creek, just across the border in Missouri, shocked many Arkansans who thought this war would be a quick, decisive Southern victory. And there were quite a few battles early in the war taking place in the northwest state, part of the state, like Battle of Cane Hill, Battle of Pea Ridge, and Battle of Prairie Grove. Union General Samuel Kerr swept across the state to Helena in the Delta in 1802, and Little Rock was captured the following year. The government then shifted it to Hot Springs and then to Washington, Arkansas from 1863 to 1865 for the remainder of the war. Guerrilla warfare ravaged the countryside and cities were destroyed. Of course, once the Civil War surrendered, Arkansas was under Reconstruction, where universal male suffrage happened, public education for blacks and whites, and general issues to the state. However, there was still a lot of political tension between these two areas. Eventually, that led to a political factions of the Republican Party known as the Brooks-Baxter War, which shook the factions of the Republican Party. And eventually, the new Constitution was ratified, re-enfranchising former Confederates and bringing it into Reconstruction. And eventually, the Democrats took control of the party, which caused the disenfranchising of blacks and poor whites. Of course, also after Reconstruction, the state began receiving more immigrants and migrants of those of Chinese, Italian, and Syrian men for the Delta. Black sharecroppers tried to organize the farm unions after World War I, and they were seeking better conditions for the white landowners. Of course, during that time, also um, causing a farmers union and stuff, and as a result, caused a massacre. Known as the Elaine Massacre, which killed 237 blacks, and eventually it was as well. The Great Mississippi Flood in 1927 happened, which flooded the Watcher Rivers, along with many others. And of course, and also Arkansas was also notably known when 16,000 Japanese Americans were removed from the West Coast and incarcerated in the two camps of the Arkansas Delta. One of those being the Rower Camp and the Jerome Relocation Center. But of course, the most notable part for the 21st century here in Arkansas was segregation. Most notably, of course, when the Supreme Court ruled that segregation was unconstitutional in the Brown v. Board of Education in 1954, some students worked to integrate schools, and one particular group that received a lot of national attention was the Little Rock Nine. And basically, for those who aren't aware of the Little Rock Nine, they were a group of 9 African American students enrolled in Little Rock Central High School in 1957. There was a really big incident that happened during that time when the Arkansas National Guard prevented them from entering into the school, and eventually got bad enough that the Arkansas National Guard was used to help bring those people in, and it resulted in a different lawsuit, Cooper v. Aaron, in 1958. And as a result, by 1959, all the Arkansas schools were Of course, in the 60s and 70s, Arkansas, like the rest of the U.S., experienced significant social and political changes, such as, in fact, Arkansas was affected by the Vietnam War, with thousands of young men drafted into the military and increasing unpopular war, with many protests, demonstrations, and across the state. The economy went under significant changes, the decline of agriculture and growth of manufacturing. And one of those important people who was involved in Arkansas during the latter half of the 20th century was Bill Clinton, when in 1978 he was elected governor, becoming the youngest governor in the country. During his senior tenure, he worked on education reform, improved the state's economy, and became a national prominent leader of the New Democrats. And yes, Bill Clinton even eventually became president of the United States as well. Of course, the economy grew steadily, but with short dips between both the Great Recession and the COVID-19 pandemic. So that concludes a little bit about the history of the U.S. states of Arkansas. So yeah, that is the state history of Arkansas. I hope you guys like this part about the U.S. history of Arkansas here. We're going to make our way over to Little Rock pretty shortly. We're about halfway over to Little Rock, Arkansas. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a good week so far. So this weekend will be coming up. I got that Everton game going on tomorrow against Nottingham Forest FC. Should be a good game. I know that it's be great if Everton got some points. I know Southampton relegated, but I would like to get some additional points to avoid any more relegation issues. They should be ahead, but just to make double sure. Can't go wrong with getting more points to clear the relegation. But it's on USA, so I'm guessing I'm gonna have to watch a different game. Probably I bet the Brighton Albion Leicester City game. That would be one I'll have to watch. Yeah, pretty big game this week for Everton. Like to get a win. Go for here. So, in terms of other news as well, I know Murph will be back on today. If you guys aren't aware about Two Toe Murphy, he will be back on today. He'll be doing his Friday stream here. The Apollo 13 anniversary flight. He'll be doing it 8 p.m. 8:50 from Opa-locka to Palm Beach Glades, then going to Cape Canaveral, and then fly over Disney World before going to Daytona Beach. So he'll be doing that on later today in 1900 Zulu. And of course, Saturday, make sure you guys stick around for the Bremen Commemorative flight, which is the 97th anniversary. He'll be doing that on Saturday. And then Allison Johnson will be back on for her historical flight Saturday. She'll be flying from Jeddah over to um, Ahmedabad in India. Flying the R44 Raven on her stream. So do keep an eye on Allison Johnson, first channel. I want to give a shout out for those two channels. If you don't mind. I'd like to have those, give those a shout out. Thank you so much, Typhon. Giving Murph a shout out. Murphy's a close friend of mine in the community. Very valued and close friend in the community. But there was some pretty big news though. This past week, Magison's MSFS Dallas is finally coming for DFW. Um, of course, lived to air CJ3 for MSFS 2020. ABO's released enhanced LAX. Pretty interesting stuff. I'm still waiting on more add-ons to be compatible with 2024. I don't know if the Comanche is compatible with it. So we'll be flying to Hot Springs, Arkansas. This would be our first. Um, so we'll be reaching Hot Springs, Arkansas very soon. I don't think we have to wait too long to do this, but we'll be flying to Hot Springs, Arkansas. It'll be our first stop of the day here at Hot Springs. This resort city is located in Arkansas, the county seat of Garland County. It's located in one of the Washoe Mountains, the interior highlands, and the city is named for several natural hot springs. Population is 37,000, so it's the 11th most populous city in the state. Believe it or not, what if I told you that the Center of Hot Springs is the oldest federal reserve in the United States? Today, it's now preserved as Hot Springs National Park, which, of course, we will be visiting on the trip. And the hot water here has been believed for centuries to provide healing properties and is a subject of legend among Native American tribes. Following federal protection in 1832, the state developed into a successful spa town. It has also been home to MLB spring training, illegal gambling, speakeasy, and gangsters, including that of Al Capone, horse racing at Oakland Park, and the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton. It also hosts one of the largest Pentecostal denominations in the U.S., the Assemblies of God. Of course, much of it is served by government entities, mainly as a national park, including Bathhouse Row. It also has several historic hotels, motor courts that were built during the Great Depression. However, hot springs benefit rapid growth when cities begin to decline. As a result, it's now a very popular tourist town here in the States. It also has its own music festival and such and more. But yes, this place is really cool. Hot Springs is a city rich in history, and it's got some really cool things going for it here in the state. One of the other things about Hot Springs that is also interesting to was absolutely the city's rich history, especially with sports. Baseball has been played here since the early 20th century due to all the train camp. It was the birthplace of spring train baseball was born in here in Hot Springs. Several famous people have actually played here too, including Babe Ruth, Josh Gibson, Cool Papa Bell, and more. But the day that Hot Springs was most famous for in when Babe Ruth hit a long home run into the Arkansas Alligator Farm petting zoo. It changed baseball history because guess what? Babe Ruth became a hitter instead of being a pitcher, and you guys know the rest is history because you all know Babe Ruth um, played here too. As a result, baseball has a rich history here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Of course, we'll fly into Memorial Field Airport, which is coming up very shortly. The Memorial Field Airport is located in Hot Springs, mainly used for general aviation, though it does have some essential air services. Places like Dallas, Memphis, and other Arkansas destinations. And its first commercial service began in the 1940s with a lot of prop liners like the DC-3. That is going to be Hot Springs, Arkansas. We're going to make our first landing here. Pretty sure we'll land on runway 05. Here we are, guys. Look at the scenery here in Arkansas. Absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, I cannot wait till we get to um, when we eventually get our way over to this area for our national park trip. We'll probably fly to the Ozarks, eventually make our way Ozark Forest, back to the mountains, and back to Hot Springs. Do some pretty nice bush flying though. Look at the scenery here. So if you guys look to your right, you can see some bit of Hot Springs, Arkansas in the distance. Yep. Here's our first stop of the day. And there's our airport guy. There we go, guys. Our first stop. We did first landing here in this will be our first stop of the day here in Arkansas. Hey, Pogs1, good to see you. I hope you're doing well, my dude. We're here in Arkansas today. We're just landed here at Hot Springs Memorial Field. Prepare for our second leg coming up soon. So, if you don't know what this is the 50 States of 52 series, where we fly over all 50 U.S. states. I've wanted to do this series for quite a while. I feel like this would be a good time to show off MSF's 2024 by flying over my home country. So that's what we're here for today for a bit. We're gonna get some bit of rest and all that. Gonna get this plane back started. We just talked a little bit about Hot Springs, and we talked a bit about Arkansas's history for a bit. Its relationship between let's go ahead and don't mind the airspeed thing being broken. It is an issue with this plane. So so this area right here, all this area here in Hot Springs is actually a national park called Hot Springs National Park. In fact, this is the oldest Federal Reserve thing in the entire country. I do also have my own Discord, by the way. I don't know if the Discord link works, but if you want to check out my Discord, let me know if the link works. Because I'm in streamer mode and I didn't want to have it additional. So all this area, by the way, if you look to our right, out of our cockpit, some of these areas are filled with bathhouses and stuff, and it's because of the hot springs they have here. This became a very popular area for all sorts of visitors, from baseball players to gangsters, mobsters, and more. Politicians, they love visiting this. So, oh, okay, it does work. I guess I may have to turn off the thing and restart. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about Arkansas for a bit. Let's talk about Arkansas geographically. So geographically speaking, Arkansas is quite a diverse U.S. state. And it varies widely between two different halves of the state. One is the highlands in the northwest and the lowlands of the southeast. And there's two halves of it. The highlands are part of the southern interior highlands, which most famously include the Ozark and Ouachita Mountains, while the southern lowlands contain the Gulf Coast Plain and the Arkansas Delta. This split can yield into a regional division between northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast, and central Arkansas. And these regions are broad and not defined by county lines. There are several unique regions. It has 7 distinct natural regions: Ozarks, Ouachita, Arkansas River Valley, Gulf Coast Plain, Crowley's Ridge, which is located around the central part of Arkansas, and the Arkansas Delta. And central Arkansas is just a blend of multiple different regions. Arkansas, home to many caves, including most notably the Blanchard Springs Caverns. State archaeologists has counted more than 43,000 Native American living, hunting, and tool-making sites. Many of them are from the pre-Columbian era. Greater Diamond State Park near Riversboro is the world's only diamond-bearing site accessible to the public for digging. Yes. You can actually dig for diamonds, which is pretty cool. There's also over a dozen wilderness areas. They are set aside for outdoor recreation and open to hunting, fishing, and primitive camping. Which is pretty cool. It's also home to many rivers, lakes, and reservoirs throughout the state, including most notably the Arkansas River, White River, and St. Francis River. Of course, the eastern part is the Mississippi River, which, for all those who don't know, the Mississippi River forms one of the world's longest river systems in the entire world, and it's a major part of the U.S. economy. Finally, its flora and fauna is a mix between different ecoregions, home to different plant life, including oak, hickory, pines, and other trees like cypress, water oaks, and hickories, as well as the saw palmetto. So, pretty interesting stuff. In terms of climate, Arkansas typically has a humid subtropical climate. While it's not bordering the Gulf of Mexico, Arkansas is still close enough to the warm water water to influence weather in the state. Generally, Arkansas has hot, humid summers with slightly drier, mild to cool winters. Arkansas is also known for extreme weather and frequent storms. A typical year brings thunderstorms, tornadoes, and hail, but also additionally some cold snaps. Well, it receives 6 days of thunderstorms a year, and it's located in Dixie Alley, which is a particular vulnerable area in the south to struck Arkansas. In fact, a few of the most destructive tornadoes in U.S. history have actually hit Arkansas. And while it is far enough from the coast to head direct for a hurricane, Arkansas can get remnants of a tropical system, which dumps a lot of rain in a short. It can get weather issues. Drive into Arkansas. Of course, if you see here in our background, if you look straight ahead, you can see the capital of Arkansas, Little Rock. That's dead ahead of us. There's Arkansas's fine capital. Very beautiful in Arkansas. So, yes, Arkansas for GA bush flying is pretty popular here in Arkansas. There's a lot of really cool bush trips in the Ozark region. So if you like your bush planes, this would be a great region in the South to do. So, so I hope you're all having a good day. I'm pretty excited for this week and see what's coming here as well. Yep, we're here. Hey, Larry Gopnik, good to see you. Yes, it is literally biblical. Yes, Larry Gopnik, it is biblical. Good to see you, Larry. We're in Arkansas today. We're heading to Little Rock, actually, the state capital. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Arkansas state capital of Little Rock. So Little Rock is pretty cool. It is the capital most populous city in Arkansas, population 202,000 people. Its metro area is actually pretty is larger than you think. It's 740,000 residents. It was actually incorporated in 1831, and its name is derived from a rock formation along the river called the Little Rock by French explorer Jean Baptiste Bernard de la Harpe in 1722, and it became the capital of Arkansas since 1821 when it was moved from Arkansas Post. Little Rock is a cultural, economic, government, and transportation center within the state and the South. home to several major cultural institutions, including the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts, its Repertory Theater, and the Mosaic Templars Cultural Center. It's also got outdoor recreation opportunity in hiking, boating, and more. It also has a rich history, including several historic neighborhoods like the Quapaw Quarter, and of course, the Little Rock Central High School, which is actually a really unique area because, unlike many other places, it's even though it's still an active school, um, it's also it is also part of its own National Historic Site. Yes, it's got its own National Historic Site. And there's some unique little rules to this thing too, because it's still a school. It actually has its own visitor center across the street. It contains a lot about its integration crisis, and apparently, as well. But it's pretty cool the fact that it's got its own National Historic Site. And apparently, you can actually plan your visit here. You can actually do guided tours of this too. But there is certain times and place you have to have a reservation, and of course your time has to be different too. Um, and of course you have to be careful with because this is still an active school. It's only available on certain days of the year. I get it. Noah stood ark and saw a dove. Pretty good one. That's a good one, Larry. Yes, Little Rock, Arkansas, pretty cool city. It's got its own National Historic Site, which I might want to do some stuff. But Arkansas's also got a bunch of other things too. It's got its own Arkansas Museum. It's got its MacArthur Art Museum of Arkansas History, which is home to the Little Rock Arsenal. And it was the birthplace of Douglas MacArthur, who served to be the supreme commanders of the U.S. forces in the South Pacific. It's weird. It's also got a purse museum of purses. Yes, for all you people of shopping, that's for you. It's got several sports teams, most notably the Arkansas Travelers. They had a long history. It's also got um, it's also hosts at least one game of Arkansas Razorback football a year. It has to be hosted in Little Rock, part of an agreement, and more. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff about Little Rock. It's also got an airport here too, um, which is Adams Airport or Bill and Hillary Clinton National Airport. That's some other stuff about the city. So we'll fly over briefly. We'll fly over the capital and take a look at some of this area here. Now, but before we will be going to um, our second stop, which is going to be Clinton Municipal in Clinton, Arkansas. Yeah, this is a great state to do some bush farming. Like, yeah, I do like flying this agricultural plane. It's nice to fly. Plus, like I said, it's nice to fly something a little different besides your normal GA plane. Of course, after today, we'll be back Sunday in Michigan. We'll start in Mackinac Island. I'm thinking about taking, um, I believe I'll probably take the DC, either the DC-3 or I'll be taking the Bonanza for that. I guess I could also take the Albatross, but I think that might be a little fast for Michigan. Here it is, guys. Little. I got some stuff going on this week. Um, here's Little Rock. So here's a Memorial Stadium down below us is the big old War Memorial Stadium, which hosts 80,000 people. And this is where Arkansas does one of their games a year at Memorial Stadium. Hmm. Yeah, there is the capital of Arkansas. And there's downtown Little Rock. Yeah, here's downtown. There's downtown Little Rock. Um, Now across the river, you can see the baseball stadium, home of the Arkansas Travelers, and you can also see um, the sports arena. This is Simon's Bank Arena, home of the University of Arkansas Little Rock basketball team. All right, guys, we'll fly back up. We'll fly back up to our second stop at Clinton Municipal. Yeah, their teams with mobile home fields. Yeah, Alabama also used to use Legion Field. Yeah, that's also another thing too. Alabama used to play games at Legion Field. Yeah, some of the people don't even know that. In fact, I believe Alabama used Legion Field because it was larger than the one in Tuscaloosa. So they mainly played their big games at Legion Field um, until the 90s. It was mainly used for the Iron Bowl because the reason was because Brian Day's Stadium or Jordan Hare weren't even large enough at the time for the large crowds that attended the Auburn Alabama game. Let's not forget before the 90s and all that came, um, like the most capacity was around 60,000 to 70,000 people for Bryant Denny. While Auburn, Jordan Hare, which currently right now has 88,000 people, but by the time of the 90s, it was only just 72,000, 61,000. But the Iron Bowl were like the biggest games of the year, so they had to play at the massive Legion Field, most of these crowds. However, with the expansion of both Jordan Hare and Alabama, they moved their games. Auburn moved its games to Jordan Hare, while Alabama went until Tuscaloosa moved theirs back to Tuscaloosa. But there's some bit of other interesting teams that play their home games somewhere else too. I know the Florida Georgia game plays in Jacksonville, and so is the Texas Oklahoma game. They play in Dallas. I think there's always a few interesting scenarios where teams move to a bigger stadium. It's not, it doesn't happen too much. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. That was when James Franklin was coach. Yeah, that's a long time ago. James Franklin. Um, he was one. He was he was Vanderbilt's coach. Was probably one of the most successful head coaches Vanderbilt's ever had, and then he moved to Penn State. The coach at Penn State. Head north up here. We're going to continue on this way for 51 nautical miles. Our next stop at Clinton Municipal. Oh, sorry about that, Larry. Yes, I'm sorry. Sorry, Larry. I didn't know that was controversial. It means. But we're going to talk more about Arkansas. Yeah, exactly. It's a tough choice. Here was a fan, but I mean, also too. I don't want to judge on it too much. So, we're gonna go head up to. So we're gonna head up to Clinton. So, talk about Arkansas for a bit. Economically speaking, Arkansas is was once a state with cashless society. Arkansas's economy has now evolved, diversified. Its GDP is $176 billion, which isn't a lot, but it is pretty decent. It's home to six Fortune 500 companies are based here, including most notably the world's number one retailer, Walmart, but also Tyson Foods, JB Hunt, Dillard's, Murphy USA, and Windstream are headquartered in Arkansas. Its per capita income is among the lowest in the U.S., $54,000, 46, and also 47th in median household income with $55,000. The state's agricultural outputs are poultry and eggs, soybeans, sorghum, cattle, rice, hogs, and milk. Its industrial outputs include food processing, electric equipment, fabricated metal products, machinery, and paper products. In terms of minerals, they mine produce natural gas, oil, crushed stone, bromine, and vanadium. If there is one thing you could say that Arkansas is good at, it is the 20th best state for business. It has the second lowest cost of doing business. Its lowest cost of living is fifth lowest cost of living. The 11th best workforce, the 20th best economic climate, 28th best educated workforce, and 31st and 32nd in terms of infrastructure and regulatory environment. I guess that is some positives. And they gained 12 states in best state of business since 2011. And it's also the most affordable state in the country to live, which is definitely a pretty nice positive for Arkansas. It's not expensive to actually live in. Tourism is also a big part. Um, it's often known as the natural state, and it was created for state tourism in the 70s and still is today because it has 52 state parks, and the National Park Service has 7 properties in the state. It also features the Clinton Presidential Library, the Bill Clinton Presidential Library in Little Rock, as well as other historic sites and festivals. And tourism is a pretty big deal here in the U.S. state of Arkansas. Thank you, Typhon, for banning being a rival, not like my rivals, being a rival fans of character flaw. Understandable, Larry. Yes, Arkansas does have some nice things. So this is Conway, Arkansas, where we're going right now. Is Conway. So yeah, I've also been working on my own too. I'm working on an Iberia vacation thing. So I'm currently filling out some information for Portugal and Spain that needs to be filled out. So I'll have to fill that out for the next couple days. Hey, Red Baron, good to see you. Yeah, good to see you, Red Baron. I hope you're doing well, my dude. We're taking the air truck AG802 in Arkansas today. We're heading to our second stop. No, it's not the 188. It is this monstrosity of an agricultural plane, the air truck AT802. It is a massive turboprop plane. It's bigger than a Plus PC-12. It can carry 800 gallons worth of cross sprayer. And you can land with a full load around 2,000 feet. In fact, there's even military variants of this thing too. If you're more interested in military stuff, this plane can really do it all. It's even also used for firefighting too. Oh, oh yeah, yeah, the Sky One. Oh yeah, I forgot to also do. I forgot to do extreme elements. Viper, what were you thinking? Ah, balls. Yeah, it's a fun plane. I really do enjoy it. Fun. Oh yeah, Grumman AG Cat. Ooh, that's gonna be a fun little plane. Oh yeah, that would be a fun little plane. Now that would be a fun little plane to build. It's basically a bi-engined, a biplane for agriculture, and you can put a turboprop in it too. I really do enjoy this thing. This is a lot of fun to fly. Like I say, it's not. It's great that this sim brought some whole new type of planes we can actually fly and check out some new planes in. So we'll be approaching the Clinton Municipal very shortly. We only have one final leg left to go in today's stream. And this leg will be the longest leg of. Let me check. We could put liquid if we need to, but we don't really need liquid. We don't need any liquid. I think we got plenty of food. Like, yeah, there's one for 2020, but yeah, it wasn't great, but it was an AG kit. I was hoping someone could make a good version for it for the new season. If there's some really cool stuff in this sim, I think an AG cat would be neat. So earlier on, Red Baron, we actually visited. We started Tex Arcana, then we head northeast into Hot Springs, which is a really cool area of Arkansas, and we'll be returning back to there in the future for the National Park Series. We'll be heading back to one of those areas here, and then of course we went to Little Rock or downtown. But really cool stuff. Arkansas is a neat state. Now we're going to enter the bush part of Arkansas very shortly, the Ozarks. I got some stuff this weekend to focus on, mainly for sports stuff this week. Uh, Pacers have just won the last 6 games, so who knows if the Knicks slip and the Pacers get a win, they get the 3 seed. Right. Like I said, I would love to get the 3 seed in the playoffs. Pacers. Yes, because I watched the Indiana Pacers. I hope they get the 3 seed. Yeah, but yeah, good to see the Detroit Pistons finally back in the playoffs. I know they've been absolutely terrible the last few years. Good to see the Pistons back in the playoffs again. It's been a long time since Detroit's back in the playoffs. I believe the I believe the Pistons were last in the playoffs. I think the last time Detroit has been in the playoffs, um, I believe the Pistons were last in the playoffs. I think go back, go back. What would be the last time Denver actually made the playoff? Oh, 2018-2019 season. It's been several seasons for sure. It's been 6 seasons since the last been in the playoffs. And they lost in the first round. It took them a bit of a while for them to finally get back to the playoffs. Detroit used to be a staple of it for much of the of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Been a playoff staple. Good thing for the Pistons. Yeah, good for Detroit to get back to the postseason. Yeah, yeah, I am very much bummed for Thunder too. The flooding was not good and all that. It is hard to move it. I know. I'm bummed too, but at least people's safety should be first, obviously. Right. Um, so I'm happy to I'm happy that people put the safety first because I know there's been a lot of flooding, not just in Louisville but also in Um, also in Cincinnati and other places around the Ohio. Like we haven't had flooding this bad in a long time. Been a while. Been a long while since Ohio River's been flooded. I think on more positive news, I actually did get tickets for July for Louisville City Football Club. So I got tickets for to watch the team. It was against FC Tulsa. So I'm gonna watch. I haven't been to a Louisville City FC game in a long time, so it would be great to see Louisville City again. To see Louisville City again. Watch the soccer system. Yeah, it's great that I get to watch them as well. They've been great this year. I mean, they started the season unbeaten. They just started the season and they're currently unbeaten still. Still haven't dropped a game, which is good. Even though they're still behind London United because they got an additional win. I mean, we're doing pretty good here this season. Gotta continue to remain unbeaten. Next match is gonna be oh yeah, London United on Tuesday is gonna be the next match. So it's gonna be a rematch of the US Open Cup rematch. Then the next league match won't take place until the 19th against Tampa. I know they put. I really want to see them too. It's because I wanted to visit Lynn Family Stadium for a long time. Wanted to check out Lynn Family Stadium. Such a great stadium, though. We're blessed with one of the best like soccer stadiums in the country. Um, Lynn Family Stadium is just a beautiful facility. And I got some really good tickets with some great views of the pitch. I'm looking forward to doing that. Of course, I'm also going to another soccer stadium as well, but in England actually. Um, Next month I'll be in London and I'll be checking out and visit a few soccer stadiums in England. And I'm actually going to do a tour of the one in Chelsea FC, which is Stamford Bridge. It's super cool. I wanted to check out the English facilities. Oh, hey, Comic Crazy. Good to see you, Comic Crazy. Hey, welcome on in, my dude. Here's Comic Crazy's stream. Oh, I see. Hey, thank you. Oh, the contraption? Um, oh, it's an air tractor AT-802. Yes, it's an agricultural plane. It's an AG plane. Here, this thing. It's this monstrosity of an agricultural aircraft. Fun fact, this is larger than a Polaris PC-12. It can carry around 9,000 pounds of payload, including 800 gallons of agricultural spray. And she isn't just used for agriculture. She can be used for firefighting purposes and even for some military purposes too. She is an absolute workhorse. This plane is an absolute workhorse. She isn't. Yeah, the cockpit here is pretty cool. She is one very neat bird. Now to get her down. We're in Arkansas today, Comet Crazy. We're exploring. We flew past Little Rock earlier, the capital, largest city. If you know a bit of your U.S. history, you probably know about the Little Rock Nine, the nine African American students that try to integrate at Little Rock Central High School. And today, the high school is also a National Historic Site. Okay. Today, this is going to be an interesting landing. Oh. At Parker. We'll park here for just a minute or two. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, Flight Control had a stream with these planes. Yeah, the agricultural stuff's really cool. There's also the Cessna uh, the Cessna 188 that's also in the sim as well. They give you the light gauge on the nose. I think. Um, I think that looks like a little bit of a light gauge. It's a neat plane, and like I said, I'm glad we have these planes in the sim. Here in the sim as well. Really neat plane, and we're now just about the foothills of the Ozark. Oh yeah, it's a pretty fun plane to fly. She's not the most aerobatic plane for obvious reasons, but she is quite enjoyable. Just have to keep an eye on the trim and also keep an eye on um, trim and stuff is most important. And make sure it doesn't. It sometimes like to turn left. You got, but she's really enjoyable though for my time with this. We're gonna go ahead and prepare for the second because for death. Let's go ahead and taxi back. She is one very neat bird. Like I said, that's why I like this sim so much, because we have some absolute crazy planes in the sim. It's definitely one of the most unique. Of course, we'll be back. If you guys don't know, we'll be back on Sunday. We'll be in Michigan. We'll be going from Mackinac Island to Detroit. So I'll probably take something with autopilot for the next one. Probably take the Bonanza. I'm probably thinking about taking that with us. No, not 50, and we're. Yeah, this thing is surprisingly good for stall. Despite being massive as a PC-12, this thing has actually really solid stall performance. There's a reason the militaries are using these things. So we'll be climbing up to 3,500 feet at the trim. It seems to be the issue with most of my reported planes where it just whack. Yeah, it is the trim. Trim's always been one of the big issues for a lot of the planes. Um, yeah, I can definitely see why. I haven't flown with much of the planes in 2024. I still need to put them into the sim. It's mainly all the Gottfried planes I got. Most notably the Double Ender and the Vilga. I still need to put those planes in the sim, but I don't know if they're fully compatible just yet. If they are, I'll probably add them in soon. I've been trying to keep my hands off of add-ons just because I just want to make sure I want to have a clean sim. My sim clean. I don't want to have too many issues. put a smoke tank where the hopper is, remove the spray bar, it might be okay. It's not really because it's more payload. True. Yeah. But there's a reason why a lot of people like using these things, though. Like I said, it's still good, though. Like, it's pretty powerful. We're going to go ahead and fly. So now we're about to reach into Ozarks. Ozark National Forest, to be exact. Will be um, a bit of interesting history about the Ozark National Forest here in Arkansas, known as the Ozark St. Francis Forest. Um, these two forests are home to 23 developed campgrounds, including lots of swimming areas and such. The forest contains 11,000 acres of old growth forest, and there are several scenic byways that cross through the national forest, include Scenic 7 Byway, which goes from Missouri to Louisiana, and offers the greatest variety of Ozark topography and vistas. The one we're visiting here is Ozark, which is about 1.2 million acres of land. Created in 1908 by Theodore Roosevelt. Home to 500 species of trees and woody plants, hardwoods, comprise the majority of forest, and it even features its own trail, too. Very popular for a lot of fishing and stuff. As oh, yeah, the Ozarks are also really good for bush flying too. Obviously, this is a bush areas pilots. They really like this area a lot. A lot of people like to do bush flying in the Ozarks. Yes. Ozarks into the backcountry. Across through this forest for a bit. So, of course, one of the really cool things about Arkansas that I think some of you people don't realize, we're going to get to the national. There's some really interesting strips in the national forest area. Most notably, we have Bird's Backcountry Strip, which is home to Arkansas. I guess for all you people that know Stoll competition should probably know that name pretty well. But there's also a lot of other really cool strips in this area. They got Taylor's Airstrip here. Um, Richland Creek is another one of those little airstrips here. Yeah, there's some really cool areas for GA opportunities here. Oh, I never done this. Really? It's no more Arkansas? It's no more? Really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know about that. Thank you for letting me know about this, Red Baron. Yeah, that's what I remember that being a thing, though. Oh, you're doing a world tour tonight. Oh, nice, Comic Crazy. I'll definitely check this out. So Paris to Andorra. Ooh, yeah, I've actually flown over Andorra. Fun fact about Andorra. It's got the highest capital city in all of Europe. Andorra de Vila is the highest. Andorra la Vella is the highest capital city in Europe. Yes, higher than even Madrid, which is the second highest capital. And also, Andorra is one of the most mountainous countries. It's also Europe's most mountainous country. So, yeah, it's very mountainous. If you ever flown over Andorra, I'll tell you that much. How much of a commission are you gonna take with my voice? I thought St. Teachers you got Murph as you put Murphy as your voice guide. Um, yeah, a world tour would be really cool. I did do a around the world thing with all the countries. I even did an around the world trip back in 2020 three with the Brooklyn DC3 event. That was a lot of fun, which is historical recreation. But I'm gonna do something similar, but I'm gonna fly through all the countries instead. That's gonna be my next series, big series after. And it will be a country or two every week, basically. If it's like a really small country, I'll probably do one country a week. Yeah, that one. That's true. I got Mervyn Howard Porter being a partner. The Viper's the OG tour guide. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's very good. But how much of commission is going to be? How much are we going to do the pay? Because I'm not doing it if it's unpaid. Yeah, it is the same. 2023 was their last year. I didn't know what happened with it, so I thought that's what I didn't know they had a new arc. But yeah, thank you for letting me know about it. Yeah, the Ozarks are gorgeous. They're some of the most beautiful parts of the U.S. state of Arkansas. You ever got some if you ever got a chance to see some of these images from the sky, the Ozarks are gorgeous, gorgeous. There's some absolute gorgeous airport. Love finding this. Forder, yeah, Forder learned to fly. Now Birds has had the challenge last year. Okay, oh, I appreciate you guys. Really, really do appreciate all of you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm FiberStrike95. I stream 3 days a week, Wednesdays, Fridays, Sundays. Here on Twitch. Fridays and Sundays here will be the 50 states and 50 streams. We'll fly over all 50 US states within the 50, with 50 separate streams covering each state. Yeah, Arkansas. Man, the if this was a bush plane, if I had my cub and stuff, I could easily just land in one of these strips. And what a beautiful scene. Love the scenery in Arkansas. Of course, next week's streams for the 50 states, 50 streams. If you guys want to know what's going to go on next week, uh, next week we'll be covering Florida and Texas. Our first Western state, Texas, next week, next Sunday. So Florida's going to be a long stream as we're going to fly all the way from Miami over to Tallahassee. That's going to be a long stream. I'm probably going to take the Albatross for that. The DC for Florida. And then for Texas, it's also going to be a pretty long stream. But it'll be Houston to San Antonio to Austin, flying through to Waco to Houston to Dallas and Fort Worth. Yeah, we have some pretty big streams. So that one's going to be a really long one as well. Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Temple, Waco, Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth. That's going to be a long one as well, but I had to fly over all those cities. Can't do a Texas stream without flying to those cities. Actually, no, it's not Miami. It's actually shorter. It's actually not Miami. It's actually Tampa, St. Petersburg. It'll be St. Petersburg, Tampa, Lakeland, Orlando, Daytona, St. Augustine, Jacksonville, and Tallahassee. Yeah, it's going to be all those for Florida. Now, remember, this one has no autopilots. I have to turn. The Albatross? Yeah, the new Grumman Albatross. That. Yeah, that is really cool, and plus it's 50 U.S. states, it streams. That way each state gets its own bit of the spotlight. So that means it can be even a small state like Delaware, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire can get the same spotlight as Texas or California or New York. They all got their own spotlights, so they all get their chance to have their time in the sun for themselves, because each state has its own history that can be told. All of it. That's why I did this series to begin with. Let's talk a little bit about Arkansas a bit more. So Arkansas's transportation is gotta be pretty important. So Arkansas, in terms of transportation, is overseen by its own Department of Transportation, headquartered in Little Rock. Several main corridors pass through the city, including Interstate 30, I-30, and I-40, which, by the way, I-40 is the nation's third busiest trucking corridor in the country. Arkansas is also home to one of the first paved roads in the country, the Dollarway Road, as well as one of the first members of the interstate highway system here in the state. Arkansas is served by 2,700 miles of railroad track divided by 26 railroad companies, including 3 Class 1 railroads, and mainly the freights are concentrated in southeast Arkansas, while the central part of it is mainly with passenger stuff, mainly by Amtrak. Arkansas also benefits from rivers, with the Mississippi Arkansas rivers in particular, being pretty major rivers for commerce. And there are 4 commercial airports in the state. Clinton National Airport in Little Rock. You have Northwest Arkansas Regional in Benton County, Fort Smith Regional Airport in Fort Smith, and Texarkana Airport, where we started from today, are all major pieces of transport in the U.S. state of Arkansas. Yeah, the Ozarks are absolutely gorgeous today. Ah, look at the Ozarks. They're absolutely gorgeous today. They look amazing today. The Ozarks are just stunning in this sim, and now we're getting some really sick flying here. Okay. You'll get some absolutely incredible views. Oh yeah, the Albatross seems to be really fun. I want to take that next Friday in Florida. We'll take the Albatross and we'll be flying around. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, no wonder why people like to fly their bush planes in part of our. No wonder. So now let's talk about some other parts of Arkansas. Of course, Arkansas also has a pretty rich and unique culture here in the state. Um, Basically, Arkansas has its own unique culture, cuisine, dialect, and traditional festivals. And sports are a very important part, including football, basketball, hunting, fishing. Perhaps the best known aspect of Arkansas's culture is its stereotypes as shiftless hillbillies. And this reputation has been going around since the 19th century. And it began when early explorers characterized the state as a savage wilderness full of outlaws. The most enduring part of it is the Arkansas Traveler, a painted depiction of a folk tale from the 1840s. Though intended to represent the divide between rich southeastern plantation planters and the poor northwest hill country, the meaning was twisted to represent a northerner lost in the Ozarks, and a white horse asking a backwoods Arkansan for directions. This also has a racial stigma common to former Confederate states, and to its enduring image, though that part may not be true, actually. Art and history museums display pieces for Arkansans to enjoy, such as the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in Bentonville, which in its first year attracted 604,000 people. It also includes walking trails and educational sites, as well as a lot of American art. Several town sites have been Arkansas state parks, including Washington State Park, Powhatan State Park, and Davidson. And of course, music's also a big part of the state, ranging from the blues heritage of West Memphis, Pine Bluff, Helena, West Helena, to rockabilly, bluegrass, and folk music from the Ozarks. Festivals such as the King Biscuit Blue Festivals and Fikes Blue and Barbecue pay homage to the history. And Mountain View, particularly, is home to the Ozark Folk Festival, which is a celebration of Ozark culture and features folk and bluegrass musicians. And there's home to several literature pieces set in the state. Of course, for cuisine as well, Arkansas is located lies around three of the major barbecue regions of Memphis, Texas, and Kansas City. So it's a mix of different styles. It's sometimes known as the Mid South style, which includes pork. Pulled pork's popular, chicken sandwiches, brisket, and ribs are all served here as well. Some barbecue restaurants are also known for hot tamales too, as well as other southern dishes and sweets. Of course, nowadays, one of the bigger parts of Arkansas tradition is sports. And while there is no professional major league team in the state of Arkansas, there is one proud tradition in that state, and that's college sports, most particularly at the University of Arkansas. That's right, the Razorbacks are a big deal. And as a result, Arkansas football is known as part of the public image of the state is Arkansas football. And they play in Fayetteville. Um, it, of course, the state's also home to another D1 FBS program in Jonesboro, Arkansas State, known as the Red Wolves. There also is a couple of other Division One programs, including Arkansas Pine Bluff and Arkansas at Little Rock. of the other ones. Of course, Arkansas also has a rich baseball history. In fact, the first spring training games were actually held here in Hot Springs from 1886 to the 1920s before they eventually moved down to Florida. And it's also home to two minor league baseball teams, the Arkansas Travelers, Little Rock, in the Northwest Arkansas Naturals in Springdale, part of the Double A's. Of course, hunting is also popular in the state, including, of course, the home of the Ducks universe, Stuttgart, Arkansas, very popular for duck hunting by Ducks Unlimited. And fishing are also popular here in Arkansas as well. Yes, pulled pork is good. Yes, a good pulled pork is good to have. So in terms of sports traditions, of course, Arkansas football is a huge deal in terms of sports. Arkansas football is a massive deal here in the state. Founded in 1894, they played in the SEC conference. They actually play mainly in Fayetteville at Donald W. Reynolds Stadium, which could seat up to 76,000 people. Um, and they've won 740 games as of now. Has won 743 games. With 540 losses, and they even won a national championship in 1964 when they were led by legendary head coach Frank Boyle. Frank Broyles, he led the team to a national title and led to Arkansas's greatest period of glory. The height of Arkansas's power was during the Frank Broyles, as he led Arkansas football to glory. Winning multiple Southwest Conference championships, won a national title, and they continued to play well in 1960. And of course, Arkansas football is rich in tradition too. There's no shortage of traditions here for Arkansas football. Most notably, when they call the Hogs, of course. And it's been around since the 20s. And fans do the calls. And do, woo, Pig Suey! Woo, Pig Suey! Pig Suey! Yeah, that sort of stuff. Apparently it's a pig call. Yes, they're actually named the Razorbacks, and they even have a live hog mascot, Tusk. He's the official live mascot. They also have several historical rivalries. Currently, the biggest rivalry right now for Arkansas football is LSU, the Golden Boot rivalry. They've had over 70 means of that rivalry. They also have a newer rivalry with Missouri, the Battle Line game, the Battle Line rivalry, which is a more recent rivalry by the fact that it actually had Civil War ties between North and South. But historically, their biggest rivals historically has been actually Texas, funnily enough, which has just recently returned back to the SEC after many, many years. Texas and Arkansas have historically had some big games in the past, most notably in 1964, in 1969. Yeah, it's a game with a big rivalry, of course. Yeah, Arkansas football is a big deal and that's because, well, we're heading to the college town of Fayetteville. So we'll check out downtown Fayetteville and fly over the University of Arkansas. I'm also thinking about another series too. I may be working on after I get done with some of those other series. So I have a couple of trail series I want to cover, but maybe before I do that one, maybe this will be the new Wednesday stuff soon. I think about working on a sports rivalry series for a bit. It'll be something I'm working on my own. I wanted to do a sports series which will cover different sports rivalries and stuff. I don't know if I want to do it. And maybe I think I want to do that one instead of the National Trail Series. I think I'd rather do that one instead. I wanted to do a sports related stuff. I haven't done one of those in ages. So I think that'll be the new Wednesday series I want to cover. Like as much cool as it is doing these historic trails and stuff, I think I want to do a sports rivalry series a bit. Maybe it'll be a once a week thing. We cover some of the biggest rivalries in sports, and they don't have to be just in the United States. I'll do it to other countries too. I want to do that one eventually. I'm just heading back to the right direction. So basically, what I'm thinking about is do some of these trail stuff. Like I like the trail sort of stuff, and so that basically made me an idea is do a sports related series. I know I've done a few sports streams in the past. I did a whole baseball series, which was my very first series I've done. And I've also did a Premier League stream. I think I have on my VODs channel. Which, if you guys want to know where my VODs are, exclamation point YT, the YouTube thing, where I put my. Of course, finally, let's go over some final slides here for Arkansas for a bit. Let's go discuss some fun facts about the U.S. state of Arkansas. So first thing first for Arkansas's fun facts about the natural state. Mountain View is home to one of the largest producers of handmade dulcimers in the world, which is a pretty cool fun fact. The world's championship duck calling contest is in Stuttgart, Arkansas. Don't confuse it with Stuttgart, Germany. No, this is Stuttgart, Arkansas. In Bentonville, Sam Walton founded his Walmart and it has since become a global retailing empire. Yes, in Arkansas. Mount Ida is known as the quartz capital of the world. The official state songs are known as Arkansas and Oh Arkansas are the two named state songs. Mountain View is also known as the folk capital of America due to it preserving its pioneer way of life. Finally, since the 1830s, the area known as Hot Springs National Park has bathed notables such as Franklin D. Roosevelt, Babe Ruth, and Al Capone. And the park is surrounded entirely by the city of Hot Springs, the boyhood home of Bill Clinton. So that is a bit about Arkansas's fun facts. And some notable people include Douglas MacArthur of Little Rock, Alan Ladd of Hot Springs, Scott Joplin of Texarkana, Dizzy Dean, the legendary St. Louis Cardinals player, baseball star out of Lucas. How about the iconic Johnny Cash, the Man in Black, out of Kingsland? Glenn Campbell from Delight, Arkansas, and Maya Angelou from St. Louis, Arkansas. Yeah, these are at least just some of the most famous people, individuals from the natural state of Arkansas. So that, and then we'll head up to Fayetteville, which will be our next waypoint. Of course, Fayetteville is Arkansas's big college town. It's actually the second most populous city in the state, but it's most famous for being the college town of the University of Arkansas. That during class session, thousands of students on campus changed the pace. City and many people, thousands of Arkansas alumni traveled to Fayetteville for basketball and baseball games. It is also the first city in America to be known as a biking city because it's a major area for bicycle stuff. So it's a bike-friendly city in America. In Arkansas, of all places. Um, and it's dated back to 1828 in the northwest corner of Arkansas. Pretty cool stuff, and it really changed the pace of a lot of stuff. Hey, Kingsman, good to see you out of Liverpool. Good to see you, Kingsman. Hello, hello. Good to see you, Kingsman. Uh, we're in Arkansas right now. We're heading to Fayetteville, home of the University of Arkansas Razorbacks American football, collegiate American football program. Woo pig suing. The hawk call. Arkansas loves its Razorback. Oh yeah, and funnily enough, it's not just Arkansas football that's a big deal in the state. Some of you guys would have a hard time believing this, but Arkansas basketball also has been a pretty successful thing too. Let's not forget, Arkansas basketball has had a pretty strong tradition in the state. They're currently led by John Calipari. Yes, Calipari put the team into the Sweet 16 this season. But Arkansas was even going to win a national championship, and they nearly won one the next year. Um, but Arkansas basketball is pretty significant too. And they're actually quite a successful basketball program. Mainly led under the Nolan Richardson era, and then they went back to prominence under Eric Musselman, and now with Calipari. So Arkansas basketball is also a good deal here too. Never check it out. Yeah, college sports are a big deal here in Arkansas. And it would still be a big deal even in the next state too. College sports are also a big deal up in our next state too, which is Michigan, because obviously you have two very prominent college football programs in that state. Michigan, Michigan State. Those are very prominent Michigan schools. Of course, Michigan's more into professional sports too with the Detroit area. I do want to let you know about that when we talk about this. Yeah, some pretty cool stuff, Kingsman. I know Liverpool's gonna have some pretty fun things to do. Yes, I'm keeping an eye on the Premier League TV tomorrow. I gotta watch Everton, Nottingham Forest. Oh, the Toffees. Gotta keep an eye on them. Oh, gotta watch that game. I know Liverpool's playing Sunday. They better not choke like they did last time. Because there's no excuse losing to Fulham. That's kind of the thing. I got some pretty big stuff sport events. So this is Drake Field, home of the Arkansas Air Museum. So of course I'm went in the wrong direction. Like I said, this thing has no autopilot. You understand this thing has no autopilot. I have to handle this. Once we fly over Fayetteville, we'll head over to Bentonville. Oh yeah, another thing too about Fayetteville is um and here it is, the University of Arkansas. There's the baseball stadium. There's the big football grounds. 70,000 people. Big old college town of Fayetteville. Go Hogs. That's a great college town. So the next place is Bentonville. We'll be heading up north to Bentonville. This is the ninth most populous city in Arkansas and one of the four major cities of Northwest Arkansas Metro, which is 576,000 people. Bentonville is most famous for being the headquarters of Walmart, the world's largest retailer. It's also one of the fast growing cities in the state. People have been around Bentonville since 1873 when it was incorporated during the Reconstruction era. It's one of the nation's leaders during the 20s and 30s for poultry production, and it still maintains one of the areas of Bentonville. Of course, Walmart was founded in 1950 when Sam Walton bought the Harrison Variety Store and renamed it Walmart, which is still a major part of the community even to today. Also home to a beautiful art museum, Crystal Bridges, which is a really beautiful art museum. They also got a few other things to check out. They got a Walmart museum about Walmarts. They got a Native American History Museum, and they even got its own film festival too. Pretty cool stuff about little Bentonville. There's also Springdale to our right is Springdale, Arkansas. Yeah, I can't X. And there's Everest Ballpark, home of the Northwest Arkansas Natural. named after the natural state of Arkansas. There's still one more community after Bentonville. Check out. Of course, if you look to our northwest, we can see Northwest Arkansas Regional Airport, Northwest Arkansas National Airport, which is a pretty well, it's the airport hub for the entire region of Arkansas. But we're not going to be landing here today. We'll actually be heading east. That's because we're going to be visiting Eureka Springs. It's a neat area, very historic community, and it's also got some beautiful parts of the Ozarks too. So here we go. We're going to go. Bum, bum, bum. Here's Bentonville. We'll turn right to visit historic Eureka Springs. That'll be our final stop for today's Eureka Springs. Oh, yeah, I forgot the closest airport. Here is Bentonville. There is Dayton Airport, Bentonville's Dayton Municipal Airport. And Here it is, guys. We're now heading to our final stop, Eureka Springs. Eureka Springs will be our final stop of the day. So, historic Eureka Springs, located in Carroll County, Arkansas, located in the Ozarks Mountains of northwest Arkansas, near the border of Missouri. Its population as of 2020 is 2,166. The entire city in 1970 was listed in the National Register of Historic Places, and is one of the most distinctive destinations in America by the National Trust for Historic Preservation. It was originally called the Magic City, Little Switzerland of the Ozarks, and later the Stairstep Towns. It's a unique tourist destination for its Victorian resort, which attracted visitors to the springs. It also has steep winding streets with Victorian style cottages and manors, and the historic downtown has an extensive streetscape of well-preserved Victorian era buildings, which is pretty cool. And it was incorporated back in 1880. It's a pretty cool little place with a really rich history. Definitely a place that I think is one of the more unique areas in Arkansas you all can visit. Now we're going to go over through Lake Reservoir. This is the Beaver Dam Reservoir, Beaver Lake. Guys, look at the lake. Right in the ozone. That is gorgeous. Beautiful lake. Scenery here is just gorgeous in this part of Arkansas. And you can actually continue north if you want to and get to Branson. Just stunning. This region in general. This region in just general is just insanely gorgeous. Yes, we're nearly made it to our stop here. Here near Rigas. Just very, very close to our final destination here today. Yeah, what a gorgeous part of this. So here we are, guys. We're about to reach our final stop shortly. We're going to reach Eureka Springs, and then we'll head our way to Carroll County Airport. Mm. And here it is, Eureka Springs. Here it is. There you go. Smooth landing. Guys, we finally made it to our last stop here at our final stop at Eureka Springs in Carroll County Airport. Guys, I hope you all had a great stream here today. We finally made it to our final stop. I hope you guys learned something new about Arkansas here. So we'll officially be returning back on Sunday at Mackinac Island. We'll see you all there soon. So we're gonna go say hello to I think I want to try a different streamer. I'm gonna say hello to London Controller. Check him out. So take care, guys, and see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone, and have a great day. Goodbye.